Hi, I'm Eleanor Meyerhofer, a native Californian designer and digital strategist. In October of 1999, a few years after graduating from design school, I flew from San Francisco to Munich with a fistful of Deutschmarks, a dial-up connection, and an extremely vague plan. 20 plus years later, after a 10-year stint at a global agency, freelancing, and launching 2 online businesses, I'm still here. Now I'm talking to other expat business owners to share knowledge, stories, and inspiration for other non-Germans running businesses in Germany. And I'm going to launch in with the first question I ask everybody on the show, which is, who are you? Where are you from originally? And how did you end up in Germany? In 2 minutes or less.
In 2 minutes or less. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. So I'm Sanjeev. I am originally from Nepal. I moved to Germany in 2015, so beginning of 2015. Did my bachelor's in computer science in my country, and then I wanted to continue my study. Coincidentally, I end up with German customers in the beginning of my professional career, and Germany became like, okay, if I go there, I don't have to find new work. I came in Frankfurt in beginning of 2015, and then lived there for 3.5 years, and then yeah, my wife moved, and then yeah, the whole thing changed because we started liking it here. Now I have a 4-year-old son, and one thing led to other, and then yeah, it happened that I never went back.
Okay. A familiar story for a lot of people. So here is also Munich versus Frankfurt.
So for me, like I knew a lot of people, so it felt slightly home in that in the Munich area because I love the people in this side. And now, of course, I think why I am also biased is probably when I was in Frankfurt, I was studying. I came here as a student, so I had different difficulties with my residency permit and so on. So usually, you always have bad experience. But when I moved to the Bavaria, I was already like finished my studies, have work. So I also don't need to encounter so many challenges compared to Frankfurt. So probably because of that, if I have to pick, I will always take Munich, and also like because of the country where I come from, right? I come
Yeah.
from Nepal, full of mountains and
Right,
nature, so
right.
I could feel home slightly more than Frankfurt. But in the end, like I think as a expert or foreigner, I think it's all same. You compromise a lot, right? So there are some good things, there are some bad things, but you need to make it your home somehow.
So you were done with the Bahorda and you're closer
Yeah.
to the mountains. And those are two pluses for Munich.
Yeah, I think so. And
Um,
then I knew a lot of people here compared to
and you had a
yeah,
network. Yeah, which
yeah.
is always, of course, important.
Mm.
So you are a multi-founder, what do you call that? Multi-time founder.
Mhm.
And can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing now?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a three times founder, but specifically a technical founder. So my expertise mostly exists on the technical side. So I co-founded companies, but mostly I looked at the product and the tech. So I'm not a sales or like very executive, but more on the building side of the things. So right now, couple of 3 months, I think 3.5 months back, I joined a startup based here in Munich and Austria. It's a small 1-year-old startup. I joined there as a head of engineering, so basically leading an engineering team, and that just is a work in progress. But before that, I work as a consultant or as advisor for the startups and scale-ups. So more like an on-demand CTO service or on-demand fractional CTO service, where I work with founders, early stage founders, help them to build the right thing, make them like give some idea what to build, how to build, when do they can start. I mostly work with coincidentally many of the founders from UK, even though I
Mhm.
live here in Germany,
Mhm.
compared to maybe that's because my German network is not that strong, probably. I don't know. But I mostly work with early stage founders, uh, probably between pre-seed, above pre-seed and the seed stage founders, and help them to scale or build a foundation in their engineering and product departments, build the processes, and help them to build the right thing, basically.
Okay. And I would actually want to backtrack a little bit, and it has to do with what you were saying about working with UK clients. So you when you came here for doing your studies, just
Mhm.
is that a blue card visa? Is that the or is it
No,
student? So what's the
yeah, it was
was
a
it a
student.
student visa? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And, because I've interviewed and talked to a lot of people that also came, like, during their studies. And did you have to have any German skills for that, or could you come and do everything in English?
In my case, no. So it was like I came to do my master's, so it was like a student visa. So
Mhm,
more like, okay, you first get it for like 3 months.
mm,
Also, like getting that visa from a country like Nepal is already like it's also not easy. You have to like first get the admissions in the university, and then you need
mhm,
to go to the embassy and so on. And they first give you 3 month visa in
mhm.
in Kathmandu, and then here you probably, if you're lucky, with that block account and so on, putting 8,000 euros in your bank account, probably you get 2 years, or like probably for some they just get 1 year, so they have to go back again in 1 year to extend the visa, and um, and it's slightly difficult to for a few of us, because what also happened is like then I bring my wife already. Like usually people like finish the study with the blue cards and so on, and they bring their wife or like their
Mhm.
spouses. So in my case, uh, so I was just married, I think. Like I married in 2014 September, and then in like February, March 2015, I came here, and I started applying for my wife. Took almost a year, like December uh, 2015. Then she was able to come here, and then it became too complicated. Then like, okay, now you need to put the double the amount of money, like for your wife and
Oh,
myself. Then you are
okay.
like dealing with 16,000 euros and in your block account, and in every year you go there, then you need to again pile up your balance so that you kind of you can continue your residency. So I come in that like typical, very like student
Okay.
visa, not from the better countries, or like for us, like, okay, coming from there is usually it's a lot of process, and then once you finish that study, then they give you 18 months
Mhm,
to find a work,
mhm.
and if you find a work, then you can switch to the blue card. So it was like early stage before blue card.
Ah,
And
okay, okay. Wow, that's an ordeal.
yeah, and so I have met quite a lot of people actually, like in the 18-month period after you finish your degree, and they give you 18 months. And for a lot of people, they can't find a job in that 18
Mhm,
months. And now I think probably they're changing it, but in 2017, 2018, they have like you cannot also work anywhere, right? So if you study computer science, then you have like, okay, some kind of industry or some set of works that you need to do. You cannot say, okay, I want to go to completely different industry and so on. So a lot of people struggle finding the job, and then especially after 12, 13 months, they start panicking because you only have like 4 or 5 months to find something. Otherwise, you're going back home. And me in my side, like I was already like I knew a lot of clients, so I already had an offer to join a company here in Freising, headquarter in Freising, close to Munich, and they were merging with a bigger company based in Munich, and that company was my client. And then they wanted me to come and lead the technology. So for me, it was like I was lucky because I already had some sort of foundational already built before coming to Germany. I knew these people, so it helped me, especially with like if I want some contract, because they could help me with like whenever I need some documentation or so on,
right.
compared to like, okay, doing everything from the scratch would have been like really, really terrible. And I might have to wait too long to live with my wife. So it in a year I was able to. um, uh, bring her in, and applied for the permanent residency, and last year finally I got in January this year actually I got my German citizenship finally because uh, I
Oh,
yeah the
okay.
final.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Um, I hope to join you, but I hear it takes like a couple of years.
Yeah, for me, I think, yeah, it takes, people say a couple of years, but mine was somehow like in less than 2.5 months, I got everything. I think it took me 2.5 months, probably because if it's just in Freising, it's a small town close to the
Ah,
airport. I don't know, or like the interesting thing is I remember like this. I am very good organized person. I documented quite well,
mm-hmm.
prepare everything, and the lady from this Einbürgerung Behörde, she called me, say, I have never seen this organized document. You structured it so well. You
You're
did,
in. You got
yeah.
the paperwork. You're German.
And it took less than 3 months, I think, and people don't
Wow.
believe. I think I don't know.
This is a geheim tip. You heard it here first, people. Apply in Freising.
Yeah,
Apply
pricing,
in
I think.
Freising.
Yeah, pricing, I think even in permanent residency, I think when I moved from Frankfurt to Bayern, I think something changed because I
Yeah,
need that citizenship for different reasons, right? Because where I come from, the passport is not so strong, and I
yeah,
cannot travel and extend my
yeah.
business and like do different things, and then that was the decision I took.
Okay. Again, congratulations. Okay, let me just so trace the steps. So you came here, studied, got hired by a company, and then you started becoming a co-founder of these three different companies.
No, the
So,
first one I already founded in 2014, even before coming here, and I was
oh,
running
okay. Okay.
it from here. I had a co-founder. He was living in Kathmandu, and that we built that company up to 55, 60 people
Mm-hmm.
by 2018. And then I finished my studies, and then we decided to settle down here, and then I moved out from that business. But I think that was the most nicest experience I have because I didn't know anything about business. I was just a senior engineer, like with trying to build your own company, build your business, and
Uh-huh.
became the CEO slash CTO because it's your company. You want those titles. You want to show it some sort of like you want to put it in your signatures and so on, and but you don't really know like what are the responsibilities and the things that come along. But that 4 years taught me everything, like what I think most of the things that I have learned so far is the product in that 4 years. I was living here but running a company based in Kathmandu. We're growing like say up to 60 people and doing works for amazing big clients, mostly the German big clients, and that was kind of really a big turnover in my career, I would say. And then I got that work hired by that company to as a chief software architect in Freising. And then in that company, I worked for like 3 years, I think, as a director of technology and head of software in different roles in the 3.5 years. And then the CEO founder from that company wanted to build a new startup, a new venture, and then he wanted me to join as a.
Okay.
So we started a new one. That's the second one where I was a CTO mostly in terms of responsibility, and but we ran out of gas in 15 months. We're already 20 people in engineering. That was my another bigger mistake of my career where I, as a CTO, take obsessed people. I wanted to build everything so perfect, build for like millions and millions of users, architected everything, and we had an amazing team, but we never get even up to 10,000 users. So
Okay.
sometimes you, as a tech or like as a sometimes you're so obsessed about these fancy things, architectures and so on, and you like to do everything correctly. And that was the time where I get exposed to this slightly fundraising because I was working closely with the CEO and the other team, helping them in the fundraising part of the business as well. And that's when I realized, okay, or like get into this workshops, how to build this good founding teams, why founding teams matters, and why it is not just sufficient to have the amazing technology. You also need to sell it, you need to market it, and that worked for like 15 months. We ran out of cash. We had like almost 700,000 euros, I think, from the other company, from the holding company as a loan. But that was a learning in different area, like how to raise fund, how to build how this ecosystem works here in Germany, and how, if you have an idea, how to get it started and so on. So that taught me quite a lot of things, and also made me a better technical founder, because that from the next time, then I'm not going to really, like complicate everything
Yeah.
and so on. And then I took a turn, because like right now we have everything AI, but there was a time where it's all blockchain and blockchain. So, and
Yeah.
after that, I was too deeply invested in that product, because it was even more than a baby. So we are so invested, and I needed a break as well. And then I took a work in a startup, more than a startup, slightly, they call it a startup, but I don't think they're a startup. And it's a fintech company in Berlin as a BP engineering, and then later also worked as a CTO in that company, and helped them to also develop further, raise more funds, and so on. And then worked there for like almost close to 2 years, and the same guy where I work as a director of technology, where I co-founded that 15 months company. Then we get connected again, and we wanted to build something again together. And that was we've formed our one GmbH, the German company together, thinking that okay, we build this amazing AI products. And unfortunately, that also like we built a first pilot version of that product, worked for like almost a year, and then so we had some different priorities. So for me, I was only building. I was good at building things, right? I can build products, I can build tech, but he was mostly the one who is selling things. He is mostly on bringing new customers and so on, and that didn't work out. We mutually thought, if we don't see the same dream, if we don't see the same vision, then it's better that we kind of split, separated. And then after that, for the last 18 months, after that, I decided, okay, let's give it a shot to go more as a consultant, or like more self-employed people. And I did some good progress there as well. And because I switched now, I started taking LinkedIn and networking and everything seriously after 15 years.
Hmm.
And from that I think May last year, I get rid of like my 3,500 connections. From my LinkedIn started back at 300. So
Wow.
I just wiped out the entire network.
Okay,
And
can I stop you right there?
yeah.
Just for a sec, a couple questions. So, okay, so you decided to go out on your own, and I did want
Mhm.
to ask you about your LinkedIn strategy. Why did you get rid of all your old connections?
So I started LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn was like already a legacy, right? Because of people in the past, and most of the people were like just seeking job, and they neither like really learn anything from me, or like
Mhm.
engage with my content, and so on. So, and I came to LinkedIn as a like a because I want to now build my own brand, work on
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
networking, and also this time now I'll not do the mistake like in the past, that just building product and working with technology, but now I also want to develop the marketing and the sales
Mm.
side of thing. And as a first step, when I was identifying my ideal customers, it really doesn't make sense to the people that I have in my network. So they are neither engaging, and most of them
Yeah.
probably were inactive.
Mhm.
And if I know like where I want to go, I want to build a network of founders, investors, and I was very specific that okay, I want 60% of my networks to be founders, 20%, 20-25% investors, because I still
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
build
yeah.
companies. And this is right now I'm just warming up my network anyway. And the rest is like the similar roles like tech executives, CTOs, and the product person. And for that, I needed that change rather than
Okay.
just randomly accepted who I even didn't knew or
Yeah.
like never talked. And it sounds bizarre because going back from I had at least like 3,500, and then going back to 300 is like okay, it
No, but
felt
I've heard
really
that
worse.
advice before to get like kind of not a nice term to use, but declutter your network and be very intentional about who's in there for what you're trying to do. I'm curious, did you just come up with this on your own? I know when I started, I'm on LinkedIn, and I mean that's where I found you, and I like saw your content and was like, oh, this is really good. And I get a lot of my business through LinkedIn. And when I started out, when I went on my own, I actually took a course, and I've learned a lot since then. You know, you get in it, but like this, I'm not as like disciplined as you are. Like, oh, I'm not like I'm only connecting with these people. But did you take a course? Did you just figure out the strategy on your own? Did you have a consultant? Like, how did you know to do all this? Or is it just your engineering mind that,
I think most of the thing was like more trial and error, right?
yeah.
So how it started is I started in so writing something, but I didn't knew exactly where should I start because I have so much of experience in different thing, and I was so confused when I started. I remember Monday I used to write about product, Tuesday about tech, Wednesday about cloud, Thursday about something else, and Friday about career because I really don't knew like okay, where was that sweet spot and so on. So I did that for like 2 months or 3 months, and then realize okay, so if you write something like okay, especially in the tech scene, like if you write something debatable, right, okay, this is good, this is bad, and then you start getting
Did you
good
get
impression. But
engagement? Yeah.
yeah, but other than that, like I think the rest of the time, like okay, you're not getting anything valuable. And then that was a time like I also have to like find new clients because I also need to like I start build that website, launch that website. I have very small networks and I need to start getting clients. And I knew that okay, I knew there are people in LinkedIn which I see as a potential client, but I also knew that from my past experience that I will not be getting like someone coming to my LinkedIn message, hey, I like your post, I want to work with you or something.
Yeah.
So for me, like that's not going to happen. I was sure about that. And but what I knew was like that I should be able to build that connections or network
Mhm,
or like have those meaningful conversations, and then those conversations might refer to someone, and then that
mhm,
referral might turn
mhm.
one to two, and so on. And that's why I focus more on very small number of people. I work with a pencil studio in Berlin. With the CEO, I didn't have any recommendation in my LinkedIn because I never thought it was needed. I
Yeah.
would use this platform, and my profile looks really nothing. And then I first thought, okay, I would even do like a pro bono or kind of one MVP project for this pencil studio because then I can get access to his
Mhm.
network because every 6 weeks they are having a lot of new founders coming in their pencil thon and so on. And I did couple of those one or two like kind of like more free kind of thing as well, like a free
Uh-huh.
kind of gig just to get some recommendation and like build slightly some of my network. And then yeah,
Would you say that was worth it? Did it pay off?
in my case, yes,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't like if somebody asks me like, okay, people, do you want to do like do something for offer for free and so
Yeah.
on? I would say no, but it also depends on where you want to go, right? Because I want to get access to these founders networks and like
Uh-huh.
and and if you work with very early stage founders, they don't have enough capital anyway. They are
Mhm.
not going to pay for your consulting service. So you need someone who can also pay for your service. And that means those people are not in a slightly different segment.
Mhm.
And then yeah, I tried to just to be say, okay, let's be consistent. Last year, I think I posted every 7 days a week.
Wow.
from May, June to I think probably took in December like couple of days off. But other than that, uh, and I was still like until last year, I was not sure like okay if it's really working. Yes, the numbers were growing, the network is growing, but the real thing is like what I was after is like the getting real clients, right? To really have that conversion. And beginning of this year, then it started to the investment of last year like really got me some new interesting projects. I was able to work with a couple of founders from UK and
Mhm.
help them. And then those founders refers me to a couple of more. And then slowly, like it became like a really like the investment on last year, like where I really like warm up, take some time, have patient, really paid paid for me. But I wouldn't say like still I wouldn't recommend like someone just do something for free if you're confident that you
Okay,
can
okay, but
crack something.
you had a strategy and it paid
Mhm.
off. In your case, though, you posted every day. Do you also have, like, a commenting and DM strategy, or is it just post, post, post?
Mm. So I schedule a content every Sunday, so
Uh-huh.
5 posts per week, and every day in the morning I send my welcome message to all the people I connected with. So everybody I'm connected with, they must have at least got one or two messages from me, no excuse. So tell them a little about me, and then to be frankly tell about what's my intention is, what kind of network I want to build, and so on. So every day, just go to all the new connections in the last 24 hours, and then just send them a message like to start a
Yeah,
conversation.
like a DM? And do
Yeah,
these are these people that are reaching out and connecting with you, or are you actively connecting with these people, or both?
both, I think. Like, I
Yeah,
think 60% probably I'm connecting with. So
yeah.
that's the second part. So first part is yes, finish with those people I'm connected with, and the
Mhm.
second part is like try to try to find those 15 to 20 new people every day.
Mhm.
Like,
So you look for 15 to 20 new connections every day.
yeah. So I split between the morning and the
That's a
and the,
lot of work.
and the yeah. Now I think like last year it was kind of easy, but now with this slightly full-time head of engineering role, it has become slightly complicated, and that's why like I'm kind of like responding to the comments only at 4:30 or 5. Usually this is the time where I respond
Yeah.
to the people from my post, and
Thank
also like
you. Thanks for talking to us.
and yeah. So I mean like so there is a strategy, but yeah, but I think once you have a system it's also not that hard because you what I don't need to do much is I know like okay when I'm connected to new people I know this is the guy, these are the guys, these are the people that I want to connect to. So I just can also script their connection, so I don't always need to search and look for profile and so on. What I
Okay.
do is like I have a list of people that I really follow and like okay who already have
Mhm,
doing this for much longer
mhm.
time and they have a good network. So I also try to find their network who they are connected with. And I think 90% of the people don't turn off that setting that okay don't show my connection
Right, right.
to everybody. And sometimes you get a jackpot like for the whole week you don't need you have that one person and then you can find a 50 100 people every day do like 15 20 and then just shoot them out the next day. And when you are connected send them a good message and no string attached. 60% will be up for at least the intro call or the virtual coffee. And and that's where you can really see something. And then I have like a list of like 50 people for like a search where I
Yeah.
filter from the people, and then I have bookmarked that link. I don't go through the feed, but
Right, right.
with a filter of last 24 hours, and those are like also for learning as well. So I can also learn and evolve. So there's a strategy, work in progress. Hopefully it gets better. Yeah.
You should maybe be a LinkedIn consultant.
No, no, no. I mean, like, yeah, a lot of people actually, like last year, like when I talked to like,
Yeah,
not LinkedIn, but like mostly also on the coaching side, like
yeah.
they have recommended me, but I don't think I will enjoy that one. I'm very still have pending things to build great
Yeah.
companies, great product, and so on. So maybe after that.
Maybe in your retirement, you can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. I wanna talk a little bit about, the startup scene. You mentioned that you worked with companies in UK, and I always hear this thing like, "Germany's not innovative, the startup scene compared to other places isn't that great." What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, so this is completely my opinion. So
Uh-huh,
disclaimer. So it's only my opinion. So I think yes, sure. In Germany, I think like in terms of innovation and others, I don't see see a huge problem. But for the startup, I think startup it's still like complicated. Like to set, for example, like even if you want to set up the company and if you don't speak the language, then you need to go to notary, you need to find that translator, those appointments take times and so on. So these are the things everybody complain. So I think nobody can every country has their processes, and there is, I don't think, any point in discussing where slow there is a bureaucracy or whatever.
uh-huh,
But what I find it slightly hard when it comes to startup is like it's very regulated here in Europe, Europe
uh-huh,
mostly, and in Germany. So everything you do, like you cannot really like experiment much, and everything needs to be, so you have to do everything right, and sometimes it it slows you down. For example, in that startup we did, we built. For 15 months, we could have probably done differently, but we wanted to do everything from properly. So we wanted to handle the music licensing, everything, even before
uh-huh.
like you're really into the market. And we wasted a lot of time there. And if you don't speak the language, then I think it's hard, honestly.
Okay, okay.
Either you need should be like you should have like a high profile, or
Uh-huh,
like high profile as in like if you got really good stuff in your profile
uh-huh,
resume, like from big corp or whatever, then it might get easier. But
uh-huh,
imagine like an average person or like a average worker, senior
uh-huh.
engineers or a senior lead want to do something, either you have to be like really like never existing idea or unique. But I think it would be really get this difficult to get into the market and to really uh, raise funds as well, because who you go, right, because you have a limited network in the first place if you don't speak the language. I think language is the biggest, I think, burden, I think,
Okay,
hurdle, I would say, from my experience. Other than that, there are also good side as well, I think. Like it's regulated, but I hated regulation, actually. Like I used to not enjoy anything about this whole regulation thing and so on. And then I worked in this fintech startup in Berlin. It was fintech, so of course it will be highly regulated. But there I realized that why they are doing it certain way, right? So why they want to super regulate everything, because they care about, like, they just don't want to do something now and then immediately regret in the next 6 months or
uh-huh,
12. So I can still understand the sentiment, but like if for the startup you need to innovate fast, right? You need to
okay,
really, and also the access to capital, I think, compared to state, right? Because that's where we all hear about the unicorns and so on, and like all the accelerators, incubators, and VCs and so on. You have like lot of ecosystem there, and in Germany, I don't think like if you don't have a network, like I think you will keep on moving in the circle unless
okay,
you really crack that circle. And that's what I'm also doing, honestly. Like for the last 2 years, I'm trying to get into those networks, building it so that in let's say 2 years from now or 3 years from now, if I start my own business or product or company, then I would have access to those networks comparatively much faster. But it's still hard. But I mean, like startup itself is hard, honestly. Like let's not also get carried away, right? So people talk about bureaucracy, people talk about uh, finding the investors and doing a startup hard, but it has to be hard. Otherwise, everybody will do it.
right,
And if you cannot pass that that bureaucracy and the other complications, it would be super difficult for you to build a company, like take from that 0 to 1, right? So take this as a part of like your stress test, and take this as a like more like a opportunity to integrate into the system. And I think it's getting better, especially I think the because of the whole political situations in the last couple of years, and especially with the US and uh, German thing. I think people are now investing more. People
Mm.
are, at least from my network, I could be wrong, but from the people I know, like they are now trying to build everything here as much as they
Oh,
can. They are trying to bring more investments in the startup ecosystem. So I'm positive in the next 1 2 years. I think it would be much better compared to last couple
for
of years.
capital access.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
capital access. Yeah,
Okay. And do you see a difference between Munich and Berlin?
Berlin. I also like honestly like haven't worked that much. I think like if I have to start, I think I would start in Berlin probably, and then probably come to Munich in a little later stage. Yeah. Also
Okay.
international wise, right? Because there are a lot of founders coming from different
Yeah.
countries, different backgrounds, and
Yeah, right.
so
That makes sense. Um, what surprised you most about going out on your own, like in this consulting fractional CTO role?
yeah, the one of the first surprise for me was how important is the language, and how I didn't thought like, because I worked the last 15 years in mostly in English, right? Even in the international
Mhm.
companies, and I'm living here for 10 years, and it never occurred to me that it will be that challenging that like, okay,
Mm,
you can still get business new clients through just English. But what I realize is like, if you as a consultant, means like you are going there as some sort of expert or like some sort of external help. And especially in my case, like I consult as an on-demand CTO or fractional
mhm.
CTO, which is kind of like executive level for the early stage founders. And for them, I think to find those companies, like to find those profiles, it was super hard if you can't really communicate well in German. Because I think like there are people, I see a lot of amazing people, but I really can't honestly express myself what I want, how I can help them. And every time just doing the default translate is not going to help me.
Yeah,
Even though I studied until C1, I can
yeah.
say speak B1 a little above, close to B2 level. But it's so that was the surprising thing for me, that even with good resume and good profile, you will still struggle to
Mhm,
to 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 land new clients. But other than that, I think everywhere the startup ecosystem is kind of same. Now I think the another challenge is with the AI. Everybody are founders. Everybody are selling things like
uh-huh.
never before, right? So you also need to kind of build your credibility and everything. Yeah.
So what advice would you give, for people that would okay, so like improve your German would be one, but what other advice would you give to aspiring founders or, self-employed consultants?
Yeah, I think like in terms of advice, I don't think like I'm in that stage where like I can really give some solid advice. But like from my experience, what I can speak is if you want to do something, don't don't like wait for the right time. Yes, there are so many like don'ts you encounter, like, okay, this is not working, this is not happening, this is difficult. So everybody, maybe probably 80% of the people you talk to, they will probably say this doesn't work. Instead of that, just follow to the people or connect with the people that really like are passionate and who are more on the positive side. So just keep on doing it, and just keep yourself away as much as away from those negative kind of narratives that you, because the more you start getting into there, I think the deeper you get, and it creates unconsciously in your brain that, okay, this is not working, this is hard. But think otherwise, everything is hard anyway wherever you go. So just stick with the right people, and then I think like it's just about consistency, I think. You need a system, you need a strategy, and seek help. I think what I did bad was I never like get coaching or like get
Mm.
help and talk to other founders and so on. I thought I knew myself, I would crack it on my own. But you now, like, you don't need to do it alone. So there are a lot of amazing people who have been there who can help. You just keep on going, and for some it's early, for some it's late, but you'll reach there. Yeah.
Okay. That's a great note to end on. Thank you, Sanjeev. And Sanjeev, where can people find you?
Yeah, for me, the best place to find me is on LinkedIn. So search for Sanjeev Thapa,
Okay.
my name, and then also I have a website, Sanjeev SQ for the headquarter, sanjeevhq.com. So if you are also interested in the on-demand CTO or like our fractional CTO, tech due diligence, and anything related to startup, you can also reach me from the website as well. But the best place is LinkedIn. I try to get back to you in the 24 hours at least. I have at least some experience on building businesses here in Germany as well, and I'd be happy to chat if someone wants. So my door is always open. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thanks. Thanks for listening. You can find this and all other Germany Expat Business Show podcasts at thegermanylist.de. Bye.